Welcome. So, the purpose of creation was to express love in its truest form and to allow for all of creation to evolve and grow within this love. So what is really exciting to me is that this pure love in which I've felt and experienced at my deepest core is constantly evolving. So this means in 1,000 years, it will be even more evolved than it is now, today. And what a wonderful thing that is. It is incomprehensible to me that something as wonderful as it already is could be even better. How is this even possible to be greater than it presently is? I'm not even sure, but I cannot wait to experience it and see. So in the beginning was consciousness. The Bible will say it was the Word, which the Word did create. However, there can be no words without thought behind them, without intention. So in the beginning was consciousness. Consciousness is life. And life is consciousness. Where there is consciousness, there's life. And where there's life, there's consciousness. Every single time. Everything that you experience in life is experienced through your consciousness. You know that this is true, right? Your consciousness and mine are very different. We all have a unique consciousness. However, there is a common thread that binds all of us, every single one of us, and this is the collective consciousness. It all comes from one large pool of consciousness. We all share it. None of it good or bad or right or wrong. It all serves purpose for the evolution and healing of all. And when we get to the point where we say, we shall not stand for this any longer, then a shift will occur. I've seen this as a spiral that is constantly moving upward, but half of it, is kind of shadowed and half of it is light, but it's still constantly evolving, moving upward. So everything that you experience in life, you experience through your consciousness, every single thing. And so we were created to come back to our true selves, our pure love selves. But this is quite tricky to do while we're here on earth because we have limitless distractions that can keep us from doing the work that we need to do in order to heal and to grow. Now, if you're already listening to this, then you know that you are not a victim of your reality, but you are a creator of it. There is no higher evolution than you can seek than that of being in alignment with divine love. Our universe is composed of unexpressed divine expression, resting, meaning it's living in a holding state. We got a holding pattern here. In equilibrium, it's waiting to be awakened, summoned, made alive, expressed through consciousness. Stay with me, I'll explain more. So our universe is not solid matter. Jesus knew this. Thus, he was able to create miracles of matter because he understood the laws of the universe. Some of my clients have also witnessed this as they have had seemingly miraculous healings, but what they are actually witness to is the divine love that has been awakened from equilibrium and made manifest. They are witnessing the truest expression of divine love. They are witnessing perfect love in action. The universe is not solid. Our scientists know this, and they'll tell you that what you're witnessing are tiny little particles of energy vibrating very rapidly, and thus creating the appearance of solid matter. There is, however, many things that science cannot tell you. They can tell you about the law of cause and effect. And they can tell you how energy can be sent out, seemingly disappear, only to at some point return again in the future. And they can tell you that when objects are observed, that they can witness changes in the forms of these objects. They can tell you so many things that will attest to what I'm speaking of in regards to reaping and sowing, but they cannot tell you what it is that they are witnessing and from whence it came. I will tell you that thoughts are electromagnetic, that a strongly held belief will manifest and will be made visible in your world by that belief. And I can tell you that what you send out that is the highest good in the form of thought, words, and actions will be made visible in your life through some means. Thus, the same can be said for the lowest form of thoughts, words, and actions. The space in our universe is that of unexpressed divine love, sitting at a state of rest in equilibrium, or it is active already within consciousness and expressing it in whatever form it was manifested in. What scientists call space, air quotes, because they do not understand what it is in everything. There is space within your cells. This space within your cells is daily imbued with your thoughts. Thus, the condition of the vehicle, the body, is also a visible expression of the thoughts that are held within the mind. And I must add here that any disease or discomfort in the body first began in the mind. Therefore, it can also be removed in the same fashion with the mind. There is space in the air that is all around you. There is space that reaches to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. And all of this space waits in divine equilibrium to be made known or to be made manifest through consciousness. All of creation was made to express the divine nature. Those things which are closest in alignment with the true nature of the divine, which is in a state of unfathomable love, bring about goodness and harmony, laughter and beauty into the world. Therefore, if your thoughts are in alignment with the true divine nature, you will send out only the goodness, and only the goodness will be returned back to you. I'm speaking for you a fact of existence. Those things which oppose the true divine nature, like anger, aggression, frustration, jealousy, hatred, condemnation, spite, revenge, devious dealings, scorn, slander, rape, murder, thievery, I could go on, bring about a negative consciousness form, which if you were the originator of such low consciousness forms, these things will be returned back to you. Our universe was not made to punish you. It was made expressly to show you the true divine nature. And this divine nature in equilibrium is waiting for you to discover it and express it. The way to discover it is to remove all that it is not. The only barricades that are set up between you and this pure divine expression have been set in place through your low vibrational thought forms, which plague most people minute to minute, day after day after day. It is of your own doing, although it may not seem this way. The mind is hard to gain control of when we let it run wild. It can cause all kinds of damage, which will come back to roost if we allow it. But it can also be the cause of all goodness if we allow it. I will go into more details about the Big Bang and the intelligent consciousness which drew together the electrical particles and all of the loving purposefulness seen in all of creation later on. But until then, I want you to know that what you are witnessing in your life has been made manifest through your continual thoughts and attitudes and beliefs about life. What you are witnessing in your life is your very own creation. Therefore, do not be angry at your circumstances, but examine your past, your mindset, your daily grumblings, criticisms, and complaints, and know that each of these has set forth your current circumstances. Only the thoughts and words and actions that are in alignment with the divine's true nature of love will bring about fulfillment, harmony, and joy. And all other words and thoughts will bring you exactly what you sent forth. Our universe sits in a state of divine equilibrium. And all of that, which scientists deem space, because they don't understand what it is in that state of rest. It is waiting in rest, in equilibrium, to be activated through consciousness. So all of that which you visibly see with the human eye is consciousness made visible. And it is through man's thoughts, words, actions, and belief that all things visible have come to be. The universe is composed of tiny electrical particles vibrating together at a very high rate of speed, which create the visible things in which you see and compose your world. The world is not solid. And Jesus knew this, and because of this knowledge, he could control the elements. So have you guys ever seen one of those high-tech cameras that can actually capture the energy in a photo? You know, the ones that you normally snap a picture and you can see pipes back behind the wall because it's picking up where the energy's going. So I remember reading this book and seeing a photo of a plant whose leaf had been plucked off. But yet in the photo, the leaf still appeared to be present after it had already been removed. We are not the flesh and bone that we appear to be, but we are the energy that sustains it. Let me tell you that again and really absorb this. We are not the flesh and bone that we appear to be, but we are the energy that sustains it. The thing that imbues this energy to which we are is mind power, thought. So in the beginning was the Word, is what the Bible claims. However, in the beginning it was consciousness. This was the beginning of it all. One cannot speak or think or do anything without consciousness. And it's through consciousness that all things can be and are created. Where there's life, there's consciousness, and where there's consciousness, there is life. And the Bible also talks about words being spoken and thus creation forming. But it also goes on to say that these words were spoken and that these things were created. But then it says, but they did not yet exist. So this is teaching us the fundamental basics, okay? Consciousness first, words spoken with belief second, and the visible manifestation of that thing comes third. And this is also showing us that there appears to be a waiting period between the second, the words spoken, and the third, them actually appearing and becoming visible. Now, the more spiritually evolved and uplifted you are, the faster that your words will affect the environment. This is why when Jesus spoke out and he cursed the fig tree because he went to it and there was no fruit on it, and he said, "Curse you, may you never have fruit again," even though he knew there wasn't going to be any fruit on there because it was the wrong time of year, but he was hungry, he was hangry. And he cursed the tree by saying, "May you never bear fruit again." And the next day went to the tree and it was withered up and dead. This was the first time that he had really caused harm to anything. And he realized, because of his state, just how powerful that his words really were. And he knew that he would have to pay for that. He knew that he couldn't just go out and kill something and have that not return back to him. Now, the less spiritually evolved, it'll take much slower of a time to manifest, or it'll take you less time at least to notice what is happening, because we have thousands of thoughts that go out in a day. So you're manifesting, but you aren't necessarily in control of that manifesting. So you're getting what you're putting out. But when you have the thought that you're holding for 30 seconds throughout the day of, "Oh, I want to manifest this thing," but then you go on with the rest of your thousands of minutes throughout the day and they don't align with that, well, yeah, it's going to take some time. So the less spiritually evolved, it'll take much slower of a time to manifest generally. Words and actions may be spoken and created, and it might take years to see them come. They might have been spoke years previous. And so when it comes time to harvest that of one's own sowing, the sowing will have been long forgotten. So the universe sits in a state of perfect equilibrium between the divine impulse of mother consciousness and father consciousness. So this is the perfect balance of care, protection, fulfillment of need, and love, all within a system of law and order. This state of rest lays dormant until it's activated through consciousness impulses. It then will take on the outer form to which its inner consciousness compels it to do. Thus, creation from a consciousness impulse, which is imbued with energy, to visible outer manifestation. It becomes what it was intended to become. Now, often we don't intend for thoughts to become things. However, this law is inescapable. We cannot think and send out destructive thought forms to others and expect to get flowers delivered to our doorstep from that person while we're handing out intentions of treacle to others. If we hand out treacle, then treacle we shall have for ourselves. If we hand out harsh words to others, then harsh words will be returned back to us. If we hand out sneaky judgmentalism and criticism, then those too shall be returned to us as they were dished out and received by those to whom they were intended. Now, if we hand out kindness and generosity and genuine care and concern for the well-being of others, then this too shall be returned and experienced as a reaping of your own harvest. What a wonderful thing it is to know that we can decide our own futures by our own thoughts, words, and actions. What a wonderful thing it is to know that as you do good for others, so will others do good for you. And as you give care and concern to others, so will others give care and concern to you, as long as you expect and wait joyfully for it to be returned to you. Our universe operates off of belief made visible. What one believes, they will manifest into their own world. What one believes, they will manifest into their own world. What do you believe? What have you seen in your life that you believe this certain thing? Maybe holding a subconscious belief, and you believe it. And you've made these things manifest into your world. So look deep and find all the beliefs that are not in alignment with the perfection of the pure love of the divine and work day by day to eliminate them. It is only then that true connection with one's source of being can be felt and experienced, and every single need will be fulfilled. We have free will. It's free, but is it really? No, there's not some God on high sitting in a chair who hates your enemies as much as you do, that wants you to kill his own beautiful creation to atone for your sinning, that wants to place your enemies, to which he loves equal to you, beneath your feet, that's going to come down and strike at you if you don't use that free will to the best of your ability. There is, however, laws of the universe that will ensure that you get what you give so as not to upset the natural balance of things. Our free will is the ability to choose anything for ourselves. We can choose high vibrational thoughts, words, and actions, which return to us more of the same. And we can also choose low vibrational thoughts, words, and actions, which will return to us more of the same. Our thoughts are electric, and so through the process of electromagnetism, they return back to us. So yes, we have free will, and you can choose to do whatever you wish with it. Through our electric thoughts being returned through magnetism to us, we reap as we sow. What we cast out through thought, word, and action is an inescapable law of electromagnetism. It's the law of cause and effect. Now, electromagnetism is the twofold energies of bonding and rejection. These are energy impulses which have brought stability and order into chaos. There is nothing that electromagnetism has brought into visible being which the human mind can be deemed to be lacking purpose or meaning. Science speaks about electromagnetism, but it cannot say from whence come such energies which appear and disappear. Where do they go? Why do they come back? Science says that electromagnetism just is. It's a simple fact of existence, yet it produces highly purposeful and intelligent work in the form of millions of billions of substances of which the universe is made. How does this happen? Did you know that the only difference in the cells producing your hair and that of your scalp is in the intelligently designed work that they perform, second by second, throughout a lifetime? If there was no consciousness present within the cell, how would it know how to perform its intelligent work? How do the cells know which nutrition to select to take in to the cell for its well-being and health, and which to excrete? How do these cells, invisible to the human eye, perform their work perfectly for millions and billions of years? Is there not an impulse of purposefulness apparent in this process? When creating a kidney, they do not all of a sudden make an ear. Now, science will tell you it's the almighty DNA, your supreme leader, your director of creation, upon which materialistic, flimsy cells and the whole of creation must depend for its survival. Behold the glorious DNA, Lord of your creation. But from whence did the DNA cells draw their intelligent directional powers? Behind and within every living thing is consciousness. Where there's life, there's consciousness, and where there's consciousness, there is life. This intelligently and purposefully designed universe in which we live was created through through consciousness. And if we were to ask science, at what point is consciousness first discernible? What do you think that they would say? We could ask about the cells, who do their intelligently designed and purposeful work day after day, replicating themselves billions and billions of times, taking in selected nutrition and excreting toxic waste as to be able to perform its duties for a lifetime, doing only its intended work for the well-being of the individual. Okay, now if it was deemed that yes, consciousness is present in the cells, then we could ask, is consciousness discernible in the electrical particles which agitate at high speeds within space and take on density and bring together visible matter? Science cannot tell you what is the motivating force which draws particles into the form of elements. Yet they are drawn together in a purposeful and intelligent way. Neither can science tell you from whence such energy particles originated. They will say that they were released during the Big Bang, which they believe gave the first impetus to creation. Why a sudden Big Bang? Of what? What was the motivating force behind it? I will say it again. There is nothing that electromagnetism has brought into visible being which the human mind can deem to be lacking of purpose or meaning. And is it not purpose the very hallmark of intelligence? Science ignores this most basic and vital level of creation. And without an answer to this creation as to why everything which has been brought into visible manifestation by the activity of the twin energies of electromagnetism is invariably purposeful, successful, and rational, nothing of any value in the search for your origins will be discovered. Yes, science can prove things with devices that they have made themselves, assuming only the five senses are involved and not some outside motivating force, intelligently holding it all together. But enough about science, in which there's not yet any spiritual life. Until some brave, enlightened scientist dares to challenge science on its principles, there will be no scientific progress. And I don't say any of this to make anyone feel bad. That's not my wish. It's my wish for you to understand this fact of existence. Thank you for joining me here today. Appreciate you guys as always. You can, if you want to learn more about this, check out the blog post. I'll have it down below. Check out the blogs on my website. And we'll go into more depth on the science behind this, what I've seen and experienced and know and studied from the Christ letters. In a future podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Love to you all. I will see you guys in the next one.